January 30th, 1874. A small village near Vadalur, Tamil Nadu, British India. A man enters a room. He plays his lamp, the one he has kept burning for years, outside the door. He turns to his followers gathered around him. "Do not open this door," he says quietly. "And if you do open it, you will not find me here." He steps inside. The door closes. The lock turns. Weeks pass, then months. Finally, in May 1874, British colonial authorities, suspecting a dead body, force the door open. The room is completely empty. No body, no bones, no remains, no smell of decay, nothing. Only the lingering fragrance of fresh camphor, pachai karpuram, as if the air itself had just been purified. The British District Collector documents it. A doctor confirms it. And in 1906, it is formally recorded in the South Arcot District Madras Gazetteer, an official colonial government publication. The man they could not find was Arutperunjothi Vallalar. And this is his story. Born on October 5th, 1823, in the small village of Marudur, near Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu, the boy was named simply Ramalingam. He was the fifth child of Ramaya Pillai and Chinnanammai. His father died when Ramalingam was barely 2 years old. His mother moved them first to relatives and then eventually to Madras, modern-day Chennai. Even as a small child, something was different about him. When he was just 5 months old, his parents took him to the Chidambaram Nataraja temple. When the light of the Harati, the sacred flame offering, was brought near him, the infant clapped his hands and laughed. Those who saw it said, the child did not react to the priest or the sound or the crowd. He reacted to the light. As a boy in Madras, while other children studied and played, Ramalingam did something unusual. He asked for a room with a mirror and a lighted lamp. He placed the lamp before the mirror and began to meditate, focusing on the light. During this meditation, he saw the vision of Lord Murugan. A flame, a reflection, a child sitting perfectly still. This was where it began. As a teenager, Ramalingam began composing poetry. Not ordinary poetry, verses of such devastating beauty and divine depth that scholars twice his age came to listen. He had never formally studied Sanskrit or classical Tamil literature. He had no guru in the traditional sense. Through his enlightened way of living, for the passing beauty of his poetry, and for his role as a teacher, he was considered one of the Jnana-siddhars, perfect individuals possessed of higher knowledge. But what made Vallalar, as he would come to be known, truly unlike any saint before him, was his message. He declared, "Caste is darkness. Religion itself is darkness. God is not in temples or idols or rituals. God, he said, is light. Not a metaphor, not a poetic device. Light, the actual, literal, all-pervading, compassionate light that sustains all living things. He called it Arutperunjothi, the vast divine grace light. And he said, the path to it was not prayer, not ritual, not pilgrimage. It was compassion. His central teaching, service to living beings, is the path to liberation. He declared that death was not natural, and that life's first priority should be to fight death. In 1858, Vallalar left Madras and eventually settled near Vadalur. And here, something extraordinary began to happen to his physical body. He experienced various stages of divine transformation and left 40,000 verses describing his experiences. He wrote about 3 successive transformations of the human body. First, the Shuddha Deha, the perfect body. The myrtle frame purified through devotion until it emits a golden hue, appearing eternally young, unaffected by the 5 elements. Second, the Pranava Deham, the body of grace and light, a body imperceptible to the sense of touch, imperishable, unsusceptible to the ravages of nature. Third, the Gnana Deham, the body of wisdom, the body of God Supreme, the complete merger with the divine. With these just spiritual metaphors, consider what was observed by those around him. One day, Vallalar was standing in sunlight with a devotee. The devotee noticed something strange. The Swami cast no shadow on the ground. No shadow. A human body standing in direct sunlight, casting no shadow. A famous photographer, Masilamani Mudaliar of Madras, was brought to capture Vallalar's image. He attempted to photograph Ramalinga 8 times. Every single photographic plate revealed only his clothing and no part of his body. A disciple offered an explanation. Vallalar's body had already been converted into a body of sublime light, and therefore could not reflect on the photographic plate. Whether you believe that explanation or not, the photographer's 8 failed attempts are on record. On another occasion, Vallalar was returning from Chidambaram with followers when it began to rain heavily. Everyone was drenched. Vallalar was completely dry. The raindrops, witnesses said, evaporated the moment they touched him from the heat radiating from his body. A disciple once wanted to ask why Vallalar always kept his head covered with cloth. Before he could speak, Vallalar read his mind. He uncovered his head, and the disciple saw a bright aura of light surrounding it. He could not withstand the brightness and fell unconscious. All this while, as his body was transforming into something science could not explain, Vallalar was doing something else. He was feeding people. On May 23, 1867, he started the Satya Dharma Salai, a facility to feed people throughout the day in Vadalur, open to all, regardless of caste or religion. The stove he lit that day in 1867 continues to burn to this day. Still used for cooking, still feeding hundreds of people every day. A stove lit by a 19th century saint, still burning, even more than 150 years later. This was the core of Vallalar's philosophy. He wept, literally wept, when he saw a wilting plant. He once wrote, "Whenever I saw a wilting crop, I wilted." He said, if you want to find God, feed a hungry person first. He abolished caste from his community entirely. He insisted on burial over cremation, radical at the time. He forbade the slaughter of animals. He ran free schools. He wrote 5,818 poems compiled into his masterwork, Tiruvarutpa. Verses still sung by millions of Tamil school children today. Sri Aurobindo and Madame Blavatsky, two of the 19th century's greatest spiritual intellects, recognized Ramalinga as their forerunner. On October 22nd, 1873, Vallalar raised a flag at his small one-room residence, Siddhi Valagam, in Mettukuppam. He called it the Flag of Brotherhood. That day, he gave his final lecture, a lecture about spiritual progress and the nature of the powers that lie beyond us and move us. He recommended meditation using the lighted lamp from his own room, a lamp which he then placed outside for all to use. Then he fell quiet. For 3 months, he spoke very little. He stopped eating entirely. He stopped requiring sleep. And then, on January 30th, 1874, at midnight, he placed the lamp outside the room. He stepped back inside. His whole body was radiating the light of grace. He entered the veranda, kindled the wick of a burning oil lamp, and it began to burn more brightly. Then he stepped into his room, closed the doors, and bolted them from the inside. At that moment, there was a presence inside the room, a presence that could be sensed, even physically, even by the born blind. There was silence, peace, fragrance, and light. He locked the door. He was never seen again. When the British authorities finally forced the door open in May 1874, the doctor who entered expected the smell of a decayed body. But instead, he reported something else: the fragrance of fresh camphor, Pachai Karpuram. He informed the collector, who then went around the room himself and confirmed the same scent. No foul play was established. No body, no trace. The Madras District Gazetteer of 1906, written by W. Francis ICS, records the event. In 1874, he locked himself in a room still in existence in Mettukuppam, a room he used for samadhi or majestic meditation. He instructed his disciples not to open it for some time. He was never seen thereafter. It is considered by those who believe in him that he was miraculously created, one with his God, and that in fullness of time he would reappear to the faithful. That door still exists. That room still stands. Once every year, on the anniversary of his disappearance, a small window in the room is opened, and devotees come from across the world to sit in silence before it. Recent scholarship has noted that his disappearance bears a striking resemblance to the rainbow body phenomenon. The Tibetan Bauddha concept of an advanced master whose body dissolves entirely into light at death, leaving no physical remains. In Tibet, this happens perhaps once every decade, and it is considered the highest spiritual attainment possible. Vallalar documented the process in thousands of verses, describing exactly what happens to the body as it transforms, stage by stage, into pure light. He didn't just attain it, he left a manual. In the 1860s, one Charles Darwin published his theory of evolution. A professor asked him a question. What is the next stage of human evolution? Darwin said he did not know. But a Tamil saint living in a small one-room hut near Vaddalur had already answered that question. Not with a theory, not with a philosophy, with his own body. The room at Siddhi Valagam is still there. The lamp is still burning. The stove he lit in 1867 is still cooking food for the hungry. The verses he wrote are still being sung by children in Tamil Nadu schools. And that fragrance of fresh camphor, devotees say it can still be detected on certain mornings near the locked room, as if something is still present there, just beyond the reach of ordinary senses. Arutperunjothi, Arutperunjothi, Tani Parum Karunai, Arutperunjothi. The vast divine grace light, the vast divine grace light, the supreme singular compassion, the vast divine grace light. Vallalar's final mantra. The mantra, he said, contains the entirety of all spiritual knowledge.